Today, we're going to talk about a deeply structured and ancient process, the Jewish path of mourning. It's a journey that's really designed not just to honor the dead, but to carefully and compassionately hold the living through one of the hardest experiences life can throw at us. The source material for this explainer, it starts with this incredibly powerful line. It just immediately gets that grief often shows up completely out of the blue. And it really sets the tone for everything we're about to talk about, a tone of just profound support and understanding. So we're going to look at how this tradition provides a kind of a roadmap for a time when everything else feels like chaos. It's a path built on ritual, community, and time, and we're going to walk through it together, step by step. Okay, let's dive in. To really get a handle on all the rituals we're about to see, we first have to understand the single, foundational idea that's behind, well, everything. And this is it. This is the big one. Kavod hamet, honor of the dead. Every single practice, from the very moment of death to the anniversary of that death, is designed to fulfill this one core principle: to treat the person who has died with absolute dignity. This really gets to the why of Kavod hamet. The tradition teaches that the physical body, it's not just an empty shell. It's seen as the sacred vessel that held a unique soul. And because of that, it continues to deserve our reverence and our care. So with that principle in mind, let's look at what happens in the immediate aftermath of a death. The tradition really emphasizes speed, and there are some critical things that need to happen right away. After letting close family know, 2 key phone calls set the whole process in motion. You call the rabbi, who guides the spiritual journey, and you call a Jewish funeral home, which understands all the specific requirements. These calls start the clock on a process that aims for burial as quickly as possible, usually within a day or 2. And this brings us to this idea of anut, which is honestly one of Judaism's most compassionate teachings. In that overwhelming, chaotic time between death and burial, the tradition basically says, stop. All your other religious duties, they're lifted. Your only job right now is to honor your dead and prepare for the funeral. It's this profound, built-in permission to just focus. Now, while the family is in this state of inanut, a sacred duty is performed by a special group of people. They're volunteers known as the Shevra Kadisha, which means Holy Society, and their job is to prepare the body for its final rest. They perform 3 core acts. There's Tahara, a ritual purification with water and prayers. Then Tatrich Shem, which are simple burial garments. And finally, Shmira, the act of watching over the body, making sure it's never alone. This whole thing is considered an ultimate act of kindness, a kesed shel emet. And you know why? Because it can never be repaid by the person who's receiving it. Let's look a little closer at those burial shrouds, the tatrikim. They are intentionally incredibly simple, just plain white linen or cotton. No pockets, no zippers, no fancy anything. Nothing to distinguish one person from the next. And that simplicity makes a really powerful statement. The shrouds are a profound equalizer. Your social status, how much money you had, your job title, all of it is erased. It's a physical, visual reminder that we all enter and leave this world in exactly the same way. Now, we move to the funeral itself. And this is where the private grief of the family really starts to intersect with the public support of the community. Just before the service begins, the immediate mourners perform a ritual called kriya. They physically tear a piece of their clothing, or, as is common today, a black ribbon. This isn't just symbolic. It's a gut-level external expression of an internal reality, that a tear has just occurred in the very fabric of their lives. After the service, out at the cemetery, comes one of the most powerful and frankly difficult moments in this whole process. The simple wooden casket, the Aaron, is lowered into the grave. And then everyone who is there is invited to participate in the burial. And this is crucial, it's not left to cemetery workers. The family and friends themselves physically place earth on the casket. It's hard, and it provides a real sense of finality. But it's considered the ultimate mitzvah, the last true act of kindness you can perform for someone, making sure they are laid to rest by the people who love them. Once the burial is complete, the journey of grief is given a formal structure. It's not this endless, formless period. Instead, Judaism creates a clear timeline with distinct phases that gradually guide the mourner back into the rhythm of life. And this is what that path looks like. It starts with Shiva, 7 days of intense mourning at home. That's followed by Shloshim, which goes for 30 days, allowing for a slow re-entry into daily life. For those mourning a parent, the mourner's Kaddish is said for 11 months. And finally, there's the Yartzeit, the anniversary of the death, which is observed every year for the rest of your life. I want to pause on that prayer, the Kaddish, because there's a huge misconception about it. Most people think it's a prayer for the dead, that it talks all about loss and death. But it doesn't. Not once. The mourner's Kaddish never even mentions death. It's actually this ancient prayer that powerfully reaffirms faith and praises God. And it's said at the very moment when a person's faith is being tested the most. And reciting that prayer requires a community, which brings us to our final and maybe most crucial section, the role of the community in supporting the mourner and how memory is meant to be carried forward into life. See, Jewish mourning is fundamentally not a solo act. The community is expected to show up, and in really concrete ways. They bring the first meal after the funeral. They visit during Shiva, not to cheer people up, but just to listen and be present. They form a prayer group in the home so the Kaddish can be recited. Basically, their job is to handle the outside world, so the mourner's only job is to grieve. And this really gets to the heart of the whole approach. The tradition doesn't have an expiration date for grief. That annual anniversary, the Yartzeit, ensures remembrance is permanent. The tradition isn't asking you to get over it. It knows that the loss is a part of you forever. But what it does do is provide a path so that over time, the shape of that grief can soften, allowing you to carry both the memory and your life forward.